Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tammy Ernest and I am a long arm quilter, and here on my channel I like to share customer finishes as well as my own projects. Today, however, instead of long arming, I'm going to be showing you some cross stitch. So this is Floss Tube. I think it's number 5 or 6. I lost count. Anyway, it's not very many compared to most out there that are doing Floss Tube, but I do enjoy cross stitch. I was out of it for many years. And once I discovered it again, I am so enjoying it. I'm not professional by any means. It is a hobby for me, but I sure enjoy it, and I enjoy sharing my projects here with you on my channel. So I want you to join me today. I have one finish, not completely finished. I do need to have it framed, but I do have one finish to show you. I also this weekend, so this past weekend was Thanksgiving here in the U.S., and after celebrating the holiday, then on Sunday we had to return our son to college. It doesn't get easier, you know. This is his freshman year. You know, this is the first time he's actually been home since taking him up there. We did visit him one time during the semester already, but it just doesn't get any easier, and I'm not very fun. But anyway, we got him back to college late Sunday evening, and spent the night there in the town. And Monday morning, my husband and I, before heading back home, we went over to Country Sampler. It was only about an hour and a half away from where my son's at college, and we got to visit that shop. So I have some haul to show you later on in the video, as well as some video footage that I took while we were there in the store. I just love it. It may be a regular stop on our way home. A little bit out of the way. It took a little bit longer to get home. But it was sure a lot of fun. He's also only about an hour and a half away from Primitive Gatherings, which is Lisa Bonjean's shop and retreat center, and I really want to get up there too. So why are there so many good quilt stores, cross-stitch places in Wisconsin? I'm not sure why, but I'm sure enjoying the trips we've had up there. So anyway, later on in the video, I'll show you some things that I purchased while I was there. But first, let's just start in with what I've been working on. So I did mention a couple of videos ago that I have not done a whole lot of cross stitching over the summertime, just with the busyness of long arming and so nice outside. And usually when I do my cross stitching, it's late in the evening when the family's back together and we're sitting around the living room. Maybe sometimes it's watching sports or just talking in the evening, but that's when I do most of my cross stitch. And so in the summertime here in Indiana, it's not dark till 10 o'clock at night, and so there's just not a whole lot of time to get stitching in before I head to bed. But now that time has changed, it's getting darker a lot earlier, I'm finding more evenings where I'm able to get back to cross stitch, and I'm really enjoying it. So, but besides stitching in the evening, I do a morning stitch as well. And so in the morning, once I get up with one of my daughters and help her get out the door and onto her job for the day, and then I usually sit down to listen to the Bible on an app, and I'll do one thread on a morning stitch, but I've gotten it done. So let me show you. First of all, I'll show you the pattern. This is Quakers and Quilts by Rosewood Manor. Been working on this. Let me see. I've got my card in here. It's been quite a while since I've worked on this. Started it in February of 2022. So almost, you know, a little less than 2 years here. But really enjoy this. I've been doing it in one color thread. So I'm basically doing this pattern that's on the back. So the booklet is called Quakers and Quilts. Let me see if this pattern itself has a separate name. They call this one only Quakers instead of the Quakers and the Quilts. So only the Quakers, which is only the top part, and then the Quilts one part of the pattern is at the bottom. So they show this way on the back, and I did this much very similar to the way it's done here on the back. Just doing one thread. I'm using mascara, which is a Weeks Dye Works, and I'm only doing it all in one color, and I really enjoying it, especially for a morning stitch. I don't have to think about looking at the symbols and figuring out what color. By doing one color, I know I'm just going to do one thread until I'm done with that one, and this is done on 32 count, which is a little large for me. My favorite is 36 count. So 32 count is easier. It's easier for me to see. I'm in my 50s and I do need to wear readers when I'm working on cross stitch. So the 32 count's just a little easier to work on first thing in the morning. And so this is 32 count linen, lamb's wool, and I'm stitching it with Weeks Dye Works mascara, like I mentioned. Now, before I show you my finish here, I really enjoy this book because there is so much more than just this pattern. So she gives you other little motifs that you can do, and even across the bottom here, several of these she has charted for where it's the whole square as well, and not just the bottom part of it, which is really neat. You can make little pillows out of these, little pin cushions out of them, little framed pieces. They would really stitch up nicely. Besides the quilt patterns. Now, the quilt patterns that are down here at the bottom, I don't believe those would work as one color thread, because you would lose all the detail if you did them in one color. It would just be a big blob of whatever color you're using. But these have a lot of open spaces. The design is made by some being open or being left blank, I guess you want to say, and others being stitched, and that's how you're creating the pattern. So just really, really neat. So here is my finish. Let me grab one of the design boards so I can have it a little more stable there. So 32 count linen, lamb's wool, and the mascara. I really enjoyed this. And I really enjoyed the bottom part more than the alphabet. I love the different designs. Look at that middle one, how that's all done with one thread, and just by leaving those zigzag lines, it creates that pattern. Just really fun. So I am planning on having this framed, and I don't plan on doing it myself. I do want to find a local framer, in which may be more towards Indy area. I really need to look it up. I don't know of anybody that has a framing shop, so it's something I'm going to have to search out. And so if you know of a good framing shop around Indianapolis area, or western side of Indiana, let me know. I'd love to know where you get your things framed at. So here in our farmhouse we have a stairway that goes up to the second level, and it goes up like 5, maybe 8 steps, and then it has a little landing, and then the stairway turns and heads up the rest of the way. So I have all of that stairway that I would love to just fill with cross stitch things. I've got other things there now. There's a couple small quilts hanging there. There's a couple lettered pieces, like an old, it's not old, but it's made to look old. It's like a old, the eye charts that you would see from, that's what it reminds me of. So it looks very similar to a sampler, but it's like just screen printed on canvas or something like that. But anyway, I've got some drawings that one of my daughters have done, but I'd like to just start adding in some cross stitch things. And so I'd like to get this framed and hung up there and just start working my way up the wall. So what to do now for my morning stitch now that I'm done with this one. How about I talk about that at the end, because I have a whole stack of patterns that I wanted to show you, and I may need your help on deciding which one to do as a morning stitch, and so I will save that for a little bit later. So that's my finish. Let's move on to my This Is the Day. So one of the things I've done in the past is I have done a daily stitch, then I have a Saturday sampler, and I have a Sunday stitch, and then I usually rotate through different projects depending on what the date is in the month. So from the 1st through the 8th, I would work on one thing. From the 9th, because that's our anniversary day, I would start more of an anniversary or something more memorable about marriage or couples or that kind of thing. I would start that from the 9th, and I would work on that until the 17th. If it's a Saturday or Sunday, then I would work on my Saturday stitch or my Sunday stitch. So it's not a full 7 days. I may lose, just depending on how the month falls. But from the 9th to the 17th that I would work on something relating to couples or marriage or love or something, you know. The 18th is my birthday day, and so from the 18th to the 24th I would work on usually something that had to do with houses, because I love houses, and so I just pick something that's more meaningful to me. And then from the 25th through the end of the month, then I would work on something seasonal. So Christmas, because Christmas is on the 25th, that's why I picked that day. And then I didn't mention, but from the 1st through the 8th, I usually work on something small. That's been my rotation in the past, and it keeps me working through projects without getting too bored. But sometimes, or I have just found recently that I've really wanted, it's more like, oh, tonight I feel like working on this. And so I haven't really stuck to that rotation more recently, and I'm going to talk about later how I think here in December I'm really going to break away from that and maybe do mini starts here in December. But I want to show you the thing that I normally work on Sundays. Again, I don't normally cross stitch during the day, so not really Sunday afternoon because I've always working on different things. But usually my Sunday stitch is what I work on Sunday evenings. We do have a Sunday night service at our church, and so once we return, Sunday night's always leftover night at our house, and so we pull out everything out of the refrigerator, and everybody kind of fixes their own little TV. So once everybody has their leftovers on their plate, and we've kind of settled down for the evening, and that's when I'll pull out my Sunday stitch. So my Sunday stitch has been, this is the day. And this chart is, you know, several years old by now. Most people have already finished it. Let's see, 2022. So it must have been early 2022. And so this is the day, Plum Street Samplers. I just love everything Plum Street Samplers. So April 2022 is when I started this one. And chose this one as my Sunday one just because this is the day. I love the verse on it. This is the day that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. So it goes right along with a Sunday stitch. And let me show you where I am. So you may recall that I messed up somewhere along the line. Here's where I am right now. So I messed up somewhere along the line, and I figured it out. I don't know where I messed up, but I know as I was working on this, I could tell I was off. And so in one of the videos, a couple people mentioned, why don't you start from the bottom and work your way up? That way I don't have to keep fudging all the way down, but I can start again correctly and move my way up and then just fudge somewhere here in the middle to make a match. So that's what I've been doing. So I have my windows in, I have the blue door in, and been working through this, but I do know what needs to come out is this pink line right above the door. That should be sitting one row below, so that it's right across the top of the window frames and the top of the door frame. And then I'll be able to adjust those bricks right there the way they should be. They should be 3 tall, and I only have them 2 tall because I was trying to make it fit. Anyway. So it's coming together. I'm really liking the way it's looking. And again, nobody is going to compare the pattern later on and say, oh, she messed up right there. So I don't want us as stitchers or even as quilters to point out our mistakes every time. I'm pointing them out to you because you're going to know it if you're stitching this, but I'm not going to be writing on the back of my you know, my framed piece, oh, I messed up on this spot and this spot and this spot. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's a beautiful picture. It'll be finished in my own little quirkiness, I guess, but it really doesn't matter in the long end. I mean, I don't want it to be obviously off, you know, I want it to be pleasing to look at. And an enjoyable piece to have hanging up. I don't like seeing my mistakes all the time, but I think once I have it together, especially once I fix that little part there, then it'll be more cohesive and not so bad. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to winter time, getting back to this and getting more of that regular rotation. So this fabric, let me see, stitched on 36 count Edinburgh linen, and this is flax. I like the color. Not a real dark, but not a cream either. I like it. The sheep don't show up so well, or the rams. Once I get some other features on them, they may show up a little bit better, but you lose them a little bit, but I'm okay with that. That's all right. Love the big pot of flowers there too. And colored doors. We used to have a red door on our house. I was into red for a while, so I did all of our exterior doors red. They're now black. I'd really like to do some wood doors, but I love to go past houses that have done a nice painted door. One that really matches with the house. And a bright blue one is really pretty. It's not really my colorway, but I think it's very striking when I see it. So that's my progress on This Is the Day. All right, let's move on. So, Saturday. Let me show you my Saturday sampler I've been working on. So I just liked the Saturday sampler. I like how that rang there. So I've been trying to keep that as my theme for Saturdays, a little different. Samplers, I enjoy looking at them, and I enjoy the way they look hung on the wall. They're not always my favorite to stitch because I like a little more continuous stitch. I like to get into a rhythm where I do stitch in hand, no Q snaps, no frames or anything. I do stitch in hand. So I really like to get in a flow where I can do many stitches in a row. I usually do half the stitch as far as I can go down a row, and then I go back and do the other half of the stitch all the way back, and then I'll move down to the next row and the same thing and all the way back. So I really like houses. And even borders I don't mind so much because I can find a pathway that I can kind of stitch along and then stitch back, and that's really what I enjoy. So motifs on a sampler are a little more cumbersome to me just because there's a lot of color changes, especially in this one that I've been working on, so I don't get in a really good rhythm, but I enjoy it one day of the week, and I love them when they're finished. I love to go into historic buildings and see samplers up on the wall. Country Sampler that we were at earlier in the week had samplers everywhere, just beautiful. I was at the attic last year out in Arizona. Love their samplers. I mean, I'm drawn to them, but they're not always my favorite to stitch. So be that as it may. Anyway, I'm working on this one, Martha Evans, 1879. Started this January of last year, so I'm coming up on a year, and I should be much farther along than I am, but oh well. All right, let me pull out my design board again to give some stability to the back of this. I started this, if you recall, I started this on 40 count and just could not do it. Now I have some stronger readers. I probably could work on 40 count. And I'll talk about that some here in a bit. But so I scrapped the 40 count and I started back over on 36 count. And I really had not done an enormous amount, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I just was not enjoying it working on 40 count. So I have a piece of 36 count. Let's see what this is. Thought I had it in here somewhere. Purchased this from Colorado Cross Stitcher, if you watch her at all. That was the 40 count. I don't know if I have written down what my 36 count was. Okay, here it is. Platinum Linen by Zweigart. 36 count. I like this color too. I'm a little more drawn to the the tannish colors, the light tans, the linen type color look more than white or cream, but anyway, so here is my progress. Probably since the last time, my last floss tube was like the end of May. So since the last time, I know I've added a few more words. I have done the basket. I have a couple more little fruit things to finish up there, and then the basket will be done. Love the whole basket weave at the bottom. I went back when I was working on these birds here. The same color is used in the border, and I was getting a little bored with the little motifs, and so I jumped back up here to the border and put in all of the red that I could with the amount of border that I have done. So this sampler is the same on both sides. It's a mirror image of itself, so everything that's over here will also be on the other side. So you can kind of tell how big it's going to be. So the basket is the middle. So I still have the branches over here and the other little motifs and then those animals. So I probably have, you know, that amount more. And then I should go ahead and finish the border around and start working down. So this is probably, you know, the top third of the sampler in looking at the pattern. This one I'm using all the DMC conversion. I didn't mention that with the other ones. So I showed you my, or I was using Weeks Dye Works on my daily stitch, my morning one. And then on This Is the Day, I'm doing all the called for ones, which are the overdyes. There may be some. Pull that out real quick. There's a little bit of everything. So there's some DMC, there's some Classic Colorworks, there's some Weeks Dye Works. A little bit of everything for This Is the Day. That's that one. Then for this one, I'm using all DMCs on this one. Some bright purple in there, some bright red, and then you have the muted colors as well. Very pretty. So at my rate, it may take me several years to get it done, but that's okay. That is Martha Evans. My Saturday stitch. All right, so that's my morning stitch and my Sunday, my Sabbath stitch, and my Saturday one. So then, I told you about my normal rotation, but I've kind of been lately just pulling out what I wanted to work on. So lately I went ahead, because it's starting to get cooler and colder. Actually, when we were up in Wisconsin, they had snow already when we were up there this past weekend. So I'm feeling that wintry vibe, I guess, the Christmas spirit. We did go out and purchase a real tree this year. That is not a normal for us, but with everybody together, we just decided this is probably the last year both of our daughters will still be home. They'll probably be getting married next year. And then with our son off at college. And so it just felt like a fun thing to do this last year that a lot of us are going to be together. So we went out and got a real tree and decorated that this past weekend. So I'm really feeling that Christmas. I'm just enjoying. We took down all the fall stuff, which in our house is a lot of pumpkins, a lot of those fall colors, and switched everything to the reds and the greens. So I pulled out some of my winter stitching that I had done last year and started on those. So let me show you some of that. So first one is the Prairie Schooler. This is Winter Wind. Here's the pattern. I had done a little bit of this last year, just mainly the top part. So I actually took this with us when we were in the hotel this past weekend. And I am stitching this on, I don't know if I even have it written down, but it's a piece of Ada. And so I'm using two threads. It feels like Ada. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't have it written down. I don't know if I wrote it down somewhere else and I just lost the card or whatever. But it's fairly large. I am doing two threads over two. I'm using two threads over two threads on here. I don't know if I said that right. And so it's a little heavier, a little thicker, almost feels a little more like needlepoint because of the thickness of it. But because everything's very large and this Prairie Schooler is not super detailed, and so you don't have a lot of changes. A little bit, like in that bird, there's a little bit of probably two colors, I think, in the bird, and so you can get a pretty good rhythm with this one. The letters, what I do is I start with one color and I do, again, let me grab my design board. Makes it a little easier to show you. So like when I'm working on the letters, I'll start with this brown, and I'll do as many of the letters as I can. So that's why you'll see, instead of just going straight across, this brown, I did it down as far as I could, and then I did this brown, the darker brown. Well, then this word, the white, was in that same color, so I'll drop down and do that word. And now I can come back, because I've got some, you know, anchors there, I guess you want to say. I could come back with that other brown. That was the next one, and I started working my way down here. There's another word right here that uses that lighter brown. And so I just see, what I can work on next that will give me the most things without changing color. So whatever this color is, whatever this one is, that's the word wins. And there's not much else pretty close. So that word's going to have to be done by itself. There's nothing else in the vicinity that uses that. But I'll try to do as many as I can with one color before I switch to the next color. And then I filled in a lot of this up here around the barn, and I still need to go back. This is all supposed to be filled in, all of that right there. So right now it's not, but that's all done in white. So it'll be the same color, but it'll be stitched. And there's a whole house that goes down here. So really, this is one of those you can get a lot done in a short amount of time. And because the fabric's pretty large, it's pretty easy to work on. So really cute. Love the red cardinals. So fun, fun, fun. And for those, I believe the threads are all DMCs as well. Yeah. Not too many colors, even, 10, 12 colors at the most. That's the colors. I like the muted colors. I have these on an old safety pin. Just found that at a antique store. That's really cute. And not all of my floss drops, I guess is what you call these. Not all of mine match. When I'm doing, I don't take Weeks Dye Works and Color or Classic Color Works. I don't take those off the original tags. I just leave those on. DMC, I will make some tags. So when I was first making them, I kind of did a little fancy, little scalloped edge. This was actually, I just cut this out of a gift box, after Christmas, and I just had a little template that I cut out of a gift box, paper punched a couple holes, and then used an old scrapbooking corner thing to do the corners, and that's all I did. Little sticker, that's all it was. Then, these tags I just purchased. You can get those at Walmart, Joann's, Hobby Lobby. They just come in a package like that, and that's what I started doing. And so just got simpler, and I just write the number on them. So then when I'm done with a project like this, I will take all of these colors off the ring, and then I keep them all hung in my sewing room on rings like this. So these are all colors that are not being used at the time. These are the DMCs. And so I will put them back in number order. So I have like three rings of DMCs. And these are just the, the rings that come apart like that. And I have 3, I think, for DMCs. I try to keep them in order. So, the blanc is at the front, and then I start the 200s and work my way back. This one has from 200s to 600s, and then I'll have another one that moves on to higher numbers. So I will just take these off of this one and put them back in number order so that when I'm pulling threads for another project, I can just go to this ring and see if I have the colors I need. So I do the same thing with, here's another DMC ring. Those are all just ones that aren't being used right now. Then I do the same thing with Weeks Dye Works. So these are all colors that I'm not using at the time. Either I have purchased for a project that I haven't kitted up yet, or like this one was obviously been used, some of it, and it's waiting to be used in another project. These I put in alphabetical order, and I keep them on the original tags, which is, I know some people have said that they will put another punch through there so that you're not going through the same hole as the threads. And you could. Their tags are a little small, so I don't want to put too many holes in it, but that's how I keep my Weeks Dye Works. Then I have another one for Classic Color Works. These are a little easier because they're a little bigger tag. But again, I put these in alphabetical order. And sometimes I'll end up with 2 or 3 of the same color because either I purchased it twice, not realizing I had already bought it, because I'll keep like little notes in my purse. And if I'm in a store, I think I needed some of these, and then when I get home realized I had already purchased them before. But that's okay. You can never have enough threads. I just think this is so fun. Or I've used them, maybe they were in a couple of different project bags, and when I finished those projects, I hung them up here. I like to have all of the colors in each project bag. So like if I needed apple fritter in this project bag and apple fritter in this one, I don't like pulling from one to the other. I like to keep each have their own, and then whatever's left I'll put back here. So that's how I keep that. Weeks Dye Works and all of those, and these just hang on, hang up in my sewing room. So that's what I do when I finish a project. So that is Winter Wind by Prairie Schooler. So I've been working on this in the last few days, and it just feels Christmassy to me, so it's been a fun stitch to do. So another one that I have been working on, no, I haven't been working on this one, but I did pull it out because it was put away with some winter things. And this one definitely feels more Christmas. Now I just got to find what I did with the bag. So this is the one that fell off the table a minute ago. So this is Jingle All the Way by Little House Needleworks. And I started this one December 1st of 2022, so last year. And it is stitched on 36 count Edinburgh linen in vintage country mocha, 1 thread over 2. And I have not worked on this since last year. Oh, love the red barns. That was so fun driving through Wisconsin from my son's college over to Country Sampler. I just kept taking pictures of red barns. They are everywhere. I mean, just everywhere in Wisconsin. Those dairy farms, you'll have a white farmhouse and a red barn. The route we took was on some country roads. It wasn't a major highway. I mean, it was a nice road. Not that it was back roads or anything. But it wasn't, you know, a U.S. highway or anything. So the route we had to take. And so we're going past all of these farms. And the red barns were just incredible. Just so fun. So fun. So I plan on working on this at least some here in December, maybe on in through the winter. But it feels very Christmassy to me. It's got a sleigh. It's got some quilt squares there and the big old white house. I can't wait to start on that. Really cute. This one takes a little more concentration than the Prairie Schooler one because it is a little smaller linen, and so I just have to concentrate a little bit more. I do have my readers in my bag. And this one I'm using, these are all classic Colorworks. I don't have them on a ring for some reason. I don't know why I don't have them on a ring. Whoops. But there are the colors. So the white is chalk, and let me see if that's the called for one. I don't think it was. For the house and for the snow, let me see which one is called for. Eggshell is what is called for, and I switched to chalk because I wanted it to stand out a little bit more. So the snow, you can see it some, but with the big white house, I think because it's so much white, you'll be able to see it even more. But I did switch to that one just to give a little bit more stark white compared to the linen. So fun. The little chickens in the barn. So I'm planning on working on that some more. I just pulled this out just the other day, just because I wanted to see what winter projects I had to work on. All right, moving on to the next one. Another work in progress. This is from Teresa Kogut's book, Let Love Reign. So when I mentioned that from the 9th, which is our anniversary day, through the 17th, I'll work on something that has to do with marriage or family or something like that. So I'm working on this piece. If you want to change the world, go home and love your family. That's the one I started. And let me show you my progress on this one. So I've done a lot of the house. I've gotten all of the roof done. I really like the roof. It's done in 2 separate colors, so it gives it a very, almost like a slate type look to the roof. It's really cute. So two colors there. And then the house, I'm trying to fill in all of the house. There's a door down here, obviously. So the door, go around all the windows in the door, and then I'll go back and do the windows separately. But like I said, I like to get into a rhythm where I'm just using the same thread color over and over. Do as much as I can. You can kind of see where I've done like half stitches across that one row, and then I stop for whatever reason. But I'll do all the half stitches on a row, and then I'll go back and cross them back the other way. I feel like, at least for my stitching, I feel it's much more even if I just do half the stitch, half the stitch, half the stitch, and then come back and cross them as I go back. I found that if I complete the whole stitch, it kind of pulls it in just a little bit. Maybe just the way that I pull my thread, or I pull it too tight, I don't know. But I like getting in that rhythm where I'm doing, because I stitch in hand, I can go down and back up through the thread in one stitch. And it's so much faster than poking down, going to the back, pulling it out, putting it back up, you know, and that continuous. I'm getting twice as many stitches done if I can just continue to put it into the fabric and back out in one stitch. And then I just like it much more even. At least for me, it is. So let me see if I have written down. I've been bad about writing what I'm working on, and I need to go back and do that. I don't have it in my bag. I might have written it down somewhere, but a very mottled piece. I'm not sure what it is. If I find it, I'll let you know, but a very mottled piece. I like this, a little darker, really pretty. So Teresa Kogut. There's lots of other projects in this book. The little heart that says, "You'll never know how much I love you." I used to sing that to my son all the time. Our youngest son, I think I've mentioned before, our youngest son, he's now 17, but he has Down syndrome, and he's been in the hospital many times over his life. And I would just, you know, at night when we'd be sitting in the hospital and dealing with breathing issues, and I would just sing that over and over. "You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. You're my sunshine." I'd sing that a lot. So that's really special to me. There's another whole big Let Love Rain, isn't that? That's more of a sampler, so maybe I could do that one when I finish my other sampler. I do like that one. I love the houses. Anyway, that's a really fun book. Really fun book. On the other side of this piece, I have this fear of cutting my fabric until I know exactly how much of it I need. So I work with very large pieces. And so at this end of the fabric is the Let Love Rain, or the Go Love Your Family piece. And at the other end of the fabric are some smalls that I was working on. So you can see, I just have this fear of cutting it until I know I have enough. And so these are the smalls from Keeper of the Pens. This is by Brenda Gervais, and you've seen this many times, I'm sure. So this is what I've normally done the first week of the month, just because they're smalls. I've not made any more progress on this than probably the last time I showed you. I still have, and I haven't even finished them, fully finished them. So this one is completely done. This one, it may be completely done too. And I started working on the lady, and I haven't got any farther. She doesn't even have a head. I just haven't worked on it. I got threads going everywhere. And I really don't want to cut these others until I know how much space I need, so no reason, no excuse. I need to get back. These would be so cute. So these feel more springy to me, more summery, so maybe I'll just wait until I get back to that at that time period. But so fun, so fun. I think I have one other one that is a work in progress to show you. This is stitched on 36 count Country Mocha, and this is Liberty Lodge, another Plum Street sampler. Again, I love the house. There is not too much from Plum Street that I do not like. I like the scenes, I guess. I love the Bible verses that she puts on each one of the patterns. the patriotic ones. This is one I worked on a little more over the summertime because it feels more patriotic to me. So in the summertime when I would get to like the 25th, and it may only been one day that month that I worked on something, but from that 25th on to the end of the month, I would always work on something that was more seasonal, and so this is what I worked on over the summer. And I really, like I said, I didn't get a whole lot done. But a little bit since the last time I showed you. Worked on the house some. And again, I like to get that rhythm going where I can just stitch all that I can all the way across. A little bit of things over here because there's some vines that come up the side or some flowers that come up the side. But I just stitch as long as I can, and then I'll go around a house. So like over here, what I might do, I'll do those rows. I'll stitch all the way across and back, all the way across and back, all the way across. And then I might come down here, and then I'll go across here and do half the stitches all the way up and cross them as I come back down, and then move on across. And here, then I would move up, do half the stitches as I moved up this side of the window, and then half the stitches as I came back down, and then I would go across. The same thing here. So I like that rhythm of doing half the stitch and then crossing it over as I move down the row. So that's where I'm at with Liberty Lodge. I like the checkerboard border on this one. Love the flags on Plum Street Sampler. Always love those. The two chimneys on there. Enjoy this stitch. But this, like I said, this may not be worked on much in the near future, just because I'll be working on Christmas things and more winter stitches than that. So let me show you some of the patterns that I have pulled. I'm thinking for December, what I may do is just do a lot of starts. I watch these other floss tubers, and they're starting, they have no fear of starting new projects, so I'm like, I want to start on some of these. I don't want to have to finish all these others, and I can. You know, there's no rules. So I may just here in December, I may just do a bunch of starts just because I just want to start them. So let me show you some of the patterns that I have. And these are ones that I already had, and then I'll show you what I got at Country Sampler. So one of my plans that I had wanted to do over the Thanksgiving holiday was to start this fall piece. This is called Faith Fall at Pansy Patch Manor from Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. Look at this. Oh, I think this is adorable. I love the word faith down there. The wagon with the pumpkins, all the pumpkin vines down here. The yellow barn. Love this big old, looks like a willow tree to me. And then I love a cross stitch piece that combines quilting, my love for quilting along with the stitching. And so when you have a quilt square on the barn or a star and the quilt pattern, the sawtooth stars, I just think that is so fun. Kind of combines my two loves. So my plan was to start this over Thanksgiving holiday. It didn't happen. But it may be one that I go ahead and, I don't even have it kitted up, but I would like to go ahead and kit this. It calls for 36 count caramel macchiato by Fabrics by Stephanie. I have, several of these pieces that I showed you are on 36 count, and I've got a huge piece of it. So I may just take the plunge and go ahead and cut some of those off. I've got a couple of other linens that don't have anything on them that I could start this on as well. The stitch count on this is 197 by 125, approximately 11 by 7, so it's a lot longer than it is tall, so it wouldn't take a huge piece. And I'm sure I have that on the bottom of some of these other pieces, but need to pull the threads and see which color works best for the linen. Oh, I just think that's adorable, so I most likely will kit that up and start it soon. So some of these other patterns I actually got last year during Jingle Ball. And are you going to Jingle Ball? Jingle Ball is this weekend, December 1st through the 3rd. It's a virtual cross-stitch party, really is what it is. And you buy a $10 ticket, and that gets you general admission. I know there were classes and things, those are already closed. You wouldn't be able to sign up for those at this point. But for the Jingle Ball itself, you could go ahead and purchase your general admission ticket. And that gets you in where you can see some of the entertainment that's going on. You can go to all of the meet and greets from the different designers that are there. Teresa Kogut, who I just talked about, is one of the designers. And so she is teaching a class, and that is a separate paid that you cannot get to any longer. But she's also doing a meet and greet, and all of the designers, there's set up certain times where you can jump into that virtual room and watch their meet and greet. There are stitching rooms where you can get together. I know like last year there were ones based on birthday. I mean, not that you have to join any of them, but it kind of gives you an idea of, you know, maybe one's a Plum Street sampler. Everybody in that room is working on a Plum Street sampler piece. Or maybe it's you were born in the 60s, and so you might jump in that room. Maybe it's late night stitchers, and you jump in that room. So it's just a lot of fun. There's little entertainment things going on. Most of the designers also put out a Jingle Ball only pattern, and I think some of these might be, I can't recall at this point, but I know I also purchased some other patterns that may not have been exclusive to Jingle Ball last year. But it's just a fun event, so if you're not busy this weekend or the weather's going to be bad where you are and you want to join in, I'll put a link down below where you can still get your general admission ticket and enjoy a lot of fun that way. But that's where I got some of these patterns was last year, and like I said, I don't recall if these were Jingle Ball exclusives or if I went onto their websites and found some other things that I wanted afterwards anyway. But one of those is Teresa Kogut, and I don't want to misspeak, so I don't know if this is available or not, but if so, I will link it down below. This is Deck the Halls, and how cute is that? Let me take it out. Teresa Kogut is a very folks artist. She's a painter originally, and now she's gotten into fabric designing as well as cross-stitch, and she has a wonderful YouTube you can follow. But this is her pattern, Deck the Halls. And it's a Christmas one, so I'd like to start this one here in the month of December as well. Love the Victorian dress with the hearts down it. Did you see the movie last year, I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day? You have to find that movie. We went to the movie theater last year and watched it. Oh, I love that movie. I think it's out on DVD this year. You'll have to go find that. Really good. Anyway. So it just kind of reminded me of the Deck the Halls and the, a different Christmas song, but it just kind of reminded me of that. Anyway, this pattern is all DMCs, so I could probably go through my ring and have most of them. Called for, I don't see, stitch count is 115 by 129. But I don't know what size linen that was done on, so I could probably choose whatever I wanted. And again, like I said, I like 36 count, so would like to start this one in December. So fun. A couple of the other ones I have, these are Christmas ones as well, and I do think I got these at Jingle Ball. These are Heartstring Samplery, and these are smalls. These I could definitely get done during December if I worked on them. So this is Love and Joy, just a little pillow. This was stitched on 32 count tea set by Graham Cracker Fabrics, and it uses one color, so I could even do this for December for my morning stitch. This is Tennessee Red Clay, is a classic Colorworks. Little pin keep, oh, just so cute. The decorative pins are by Heartstring Samplery as well. Love that. And then a companion piece with that one. This is called Joyous All Together. Oh, so that's what I was talking about with that Quakers one. You could do little motifs like that and even just add some of your own words. So beautiful. This is Fox and Rabbit Up in the Attic, 36 count is what it was stitched on. I would probably do the same fabrics for both, because I would probably be displaying them together. And this uses Weeks Dye Works Aztec Red. I kind of like the darker red. So I would probably use the same red and the same linen for both. So pretty. Then another one I picked up was Goodwill to Mend. This is an Erica Michaels. Pull this out. This one could also be one color. I could do that. I don't really like the yellow, the golden fabric. So depending on the size of this one, I could do it. No, I'm going to do something else. I was going to say the Morning Stitch, the fabric I had on that one, but I'm going to do something else with that fabric. So anyway, you have the piece there, but then you also have the strawberry. Monochromatic design can be stitched in your favorite fabric floss combination. I like that. Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill to men. So very Christmassy. This will be really fun. Then this one is more, not necessarily Christmas, but more winter. This is also Erica Michaels, and this one's called Twinkleberry. And it's a small pillow, and then also a strawberry as well. This would go more with my January, February. Usually January is when I pull out snowmen, so this would be really fun to stitch up then and to have out with all my blue and white snowmen. And then February we usually kind of switch to Valentine's Day. You know, those winter months get really long, so it's good to have different decor to pull out each month and to look forward to. We've got a lot of birthdays over the first few months of the year, so we kind of jump from birthday to Valentine's Day to our anniversaries in March. And you know, every few weeks, if you've got something to look forward to, it makes those long winter months go a little faster. So anyway, that's probably one I won't start until January. But then this is the piece that I think I was planning on working as my morning stitch. So maybe for December I could work on those two pillows and have those done for my morning stitch. And then in January, use the fabric that's left from my Only Quakers one and work on this one. And be kind to one another. Because the bottom half of my Quakers Only piece is long and skinny, and this would fit on there perfectly. This is actually a companion, this chart is a companion piece to Be Exceedingly Diligent, and which is this one right here. I'd like to get that one too. But I don't have that chart yet. It'd be good to put them both on the same thing. I think this one, it looks very similar to my Quakers Only one. So I think I'll go ahead and do the same linen with this one. But my mind may change before January. But that's what I was looking at next for my new morning stitch. What do you think? Like that? I do have another one. Hold on just a second. So here's another one that I thought of doing for my morning stitch. When we visited the attic last year in Arizona, I picked this up. This is one of the Bristol samplers from the Bristol Orphanage. I love this. And it's all, again, it's a monochromatic color theme. I'm not doing the red. I have picked out these silks. I have never used silks before. But I picked out this black silk to use for this. This is Splendor, and I was at a quilt store here, not a quilt store, I was at a cross-stitch store, the Persnickety Stitches up in Zionsville, which is about an hour from me, and many months ago, and I was looking for some silks, and they recommended this for this piece. So I've thought about doing, because it's a monochromatic theme is why I thought for my morning stitch. But it's also a sampler, so it could fit on my Saturdays. So I'm not sure which one I'll do. But this one's all kitted. I have all of the silks. I have like 5 skeins of silk. And I picked out a, this is 40 count. So a little smaller than what I normally do. But I've got some heavy duty readers now that maybe I can do it. This is French lace linen. And this is a, I can't say that, Welch, however you say it. So it's a little bit of a gray, but I like it with the black. I like that. So I could do that one for my morning stitch. What do you think? The Bristol sampler or this one? Be kind to one another. Those are kind of my 2 choices to work on for my morning stitch at this point. So the only thing I have left to show you is what I picked up at Country Sampler. Let me insert here some footage from the store itself. Such a cute store. That's what I want my house to look like. I love it. I love the cross stitch pieces along with the fabric and the quilts and the decor. I just absolutely loved it. I could spend all day in there. When you purchase something at Country Sampler, they put it in this cute little bag, has their emblem on there, and then tie it with this nice bow so you go walking out of the store with this. Isn't this so cute? So fun. I haven't even wanted to unwrap it until I showed you what it was like. They had so much more. You can buy some of the decor that's there. You can buy, they have so many Stacy Nash patterns, Plum Street sampler patterns. They have so many things that are already kitted, and I'm going to show you those in just a minute, which is really nice. So you don't have to, but they have fabrics, they have linens, they have everything, and they will help you put it all together, and just so many fun things. So let me just show you a few of the things that I got while I was there. The first thing I did pick up my 2024 Book of Days. Like I said, I just purchased this, so I haven't done anything with it. I am going to be looking for some other stickers. I've been perusing Amazon to decide which stickers I want. I've about used up all the ones that I like from that other book that I had. And so I would like to find some more stickers, so I'm working on that. But this is how I keep track of just what I sew on each day. I don't have my 2023 book here with me today, but I just keep track of what I'm working on each day, and it's fun. So next thing, I've got a couple finishing, what would you call it? I don't know, just little finishing rope type things. So if you remember my cross stitch collector piece that I did earlier this year, I've never liked my finish on that really well. I put it I wrapped it around some foam core board and then put it onto a wooden board. And I just wanted something to go around the edge. So I got a couple of these so I can decide on which one I like to put on those. Then I got 2 different Plum Street sampler, and I got them in a kit. So they have so many samples already finished, which is the getter. You know, when you see things and you're like, oh, I want to make that one. I have seen this, this one's the Stacy Nash. I said that wrong. I got 1 Stacy Nash and 1 Plum Street sampler. They had this pillow made up there, and it was just adorable. And I've seen others do this pattern, and I love the yellow, the golden mustard house, and the alphabet. It's called the butternut house, and it's a pen keep. But what's so fun about Country Sampler is they package it all, and look how pretty. Now they have a little note here that it was missing one of the DMCs, but I said I'll take it anyway because I'm sure I have that DMC. But when they kit it, they have all of the threads. These are all the called for DMCs. They have the fabric there, and then they give you the backing fabric for the pillow as well. And so cute. So the fabric included is the 36 count vintage homespun, which I love 36 count. Love the colors there, and it includes the pattern. Stacy Nash is actually from Indiana, and I'm liking her stuff too. Really pretty. So that's one kit that I got, and then the other one I got, this is This Happy Morning. This was a 2021 pattern by Plum Street Samplers, and look at that red barn. Just kind of reminded me of our trip to Wisconsin. Love the red barn, and this feels kind of Christmassy. Well, yeah, it says, "Yea, Lord, we greet thee, born this happy morning." So obviously it's a Christmas thing. What I like about the barn too is the subtle flower print, almost like a quilt pattern. Very subtle. From a distance it just looks red, but when you get in close it's so cute. This one was framed there at the store. There's also a version of this where it's done with the black fabric and then the lighter colors. I didn't like that one as well. You can buy the pattern either way, but I bought the one. This is called the vintage version because it only has this colorway in it. So it included 36 count hog bristle. A little darker brown, I like that. And all the called for colors. Some of these are DMC that you can see. Others are Weeks Dye Works or Classic Color Works. No backing fabric on this one because this was framed. So this is 254 by 244. So a good size piece. So again, for Christmas, I'm going to start this December so that I can work on it a little bit and then finish working on it throughout the winter season. This one, I may even start this one too. I don't know. I just feel like starting stuff. I just feel like doing some new stuff. And so fun. So fun. So if you get a chance to go to Country Sampler, you'll have to stop in there and see. They've also have a whole apartment above the store that can be, I don't know what the details are, how to rent it out, but you could go over to Teresa Kogut's YouTube channel. She did a whole tour of the upstairs not too long ago, and really fun. And she actually toured the store too when it was still all of the fall decorations. So when we were there, they already had stuff switched over to Christmas. Both of them are beautiful. I could just live there. I could just live there. I just want my house to be like that so that I have that around me all the time. So that is my cross stitch. It's been a long time since I filmed a cross stitch or a floss tube video, and I have so enjoyed cross stitching, and I hope you're working on some stuff too. Let me know in the comments what you're working on. I'll be back next week with long arm finishes. I am churning them out. I actually had several go home yesterday that I didn't even get pictures of, so I'm not won't be able to show those, but got to get these projects done for Christmas so that everybody can get their gifts ready to go. So I'll be back next week with long arm finishes, And like I always say, every quilt is worth finishing, and every cross-stitch project is worth finishing as well. And I'm looking forward to starting some so that I can finish them eventually. So I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week.